share a little lesson and encouragement with you that I was gleaning from, believe it or not, my Costco magazine. So I love the Costco magazine because they do feature writers. They talk about books. They have little excerpts, and the one I got this week has James Patterson in it. And I wanted to share this little excerpt from the article with you as an encouragement that every single writer that we know and love, every famous best-selling author, they all had to begin somewhere, and they all began not being 100% sure what they were doing or how to make their books sell. Like for every single writer who is on a writing journey, it's been a journey. It's been, they had a beginning, they had a season where they weren't sure what they were doing, they were experimenting, testing, and then where they found the traction. And part of what helps us move from not knowing what we're doing to traction is paying attention to what's working, paying attention to ourselves. Like, what's our highest value? Is it to sell a lot of copies? Is it to make an impact? Is it to get the ideas free from our brain? Maybe it's a mixture of all those things. So here from James Patterson James Patterson's article is that he actually started in advertising, and he loved writing, but he wasn't doing it full time. So he had a job at an advertising agency where he actually became the CEO, and he worked there for 25 years after college. So 25 years not writing full time, working in ads. And he did his first book that was published was the Thomas Berryman Number, and it was actually rejected 31 times before it was picked up by Little Brown, where after its publication it did win a prestigious award. But I love reading stories like this because it's such a reminder that even authors that we look at today where we think, wow, they have it all together, they must have just magically been successful. Like, no, he had to have perseverance, and his first book was actually rejected 31 times, and that can be so encouraging and motivating on our writing journeys. And then Patterson, although buoyed by the success of that book, he stayed in advertising because he wasn't making money off the book. And then he said, I'm going to write a bestseller. And this is actually a direct quote. The second book I wrote, Season of the Machete, was terrible. It was awful. It's just dreadful. And that made me chuckle because so often we obsess with making our first book or our second book perfect and everything it's meant to be. But what this tells me is that writing is a journey, and that everything that we create and put out into the world, it's going to help us get better. That's how we improve as writers. We practice, we pay attention, we learn, we grow. And the things you're writing today are way stronger and more powerful than the things you were writing 5 years ago. And if you keep moving forward, writing, practicing for 10 years, you're going to look back at what you're writing today, and you're going to see so many places to improve and grow. But today is part of your journey, and just you showing up to the paper, just you taking that effort to put down the words, to learn about writing, to enjoy the process. Like, you're sowing these seeds and you're building those muscles, and you will continue to build on it as you move forward. So I was really encouraged reading this article, and I thought you might be as well. Christy, so glad you're loving this. So then after that quote that he's saying his second book was awful and dreadful, Patterson continued to write books, but Patterson says they continued to come up short. None of them are very good. I really didn't know what the hell I was doing until, that is, the early 1990s. So Patterson's first real love, a woman named Jane, developed a brain tumor and died. After her death, he decided to make something out of his writing career. He believed that he finally understood what he needed to do to write a bestseller. So here again, we're seeing his growth as a writer, and even that terrible moment of losing the person he loved kind of solidified that he wanted to invest more in writing. This is really what he wanted to do. And then the last paragraph I'm going to read. Patterson developed his signature style, which included short chapters, a fast pace that made readers want to keep reading more, and a reoccurring character they would grow to love. Alex Cross, a forensic psychologist and detective who becomes an FBI agent. So I wanted to share that with you, and I actually wrote little notes and I highlighted in this, but just that for me, the things that stood out are he was in advertising for 25 years, kind of doing this on the side in the cracks and crevices of his life. And then his first bestseller was not until he was 40, which I'm turning 40 next month. I'm excited and nervous and just a lot of feelings with a decade birthday. Um, but so the 40, that may be, you may be older than that, you may be younger than that, you may be me, like on the brink of 40. And the number doesn't so much give me a benchmark to look at. It's more of that encouragement of, okay, writing is a journey, it's a process. And for me, one of the decisions that I make, not just once, but kind of on a continual basis, is kind of that self-check. Is writing what I want to do? Is this something I cannot do? And for me, it keeps coming back to this commitment of I love writing, I love creating worlds on paper, I love sharing those worlds and thoughts and stories with other people and seeing how it impacts them. So for me, what I've come to is I want to keep learning and growing and marketing and doing all the things, but regardless of the exact outcome of that, this is what I want to do. Like for me, that commitment is very clear. And so I just encourage you, wherever you are on your writing journey, if you're kind of in that emerging writer stage where you feel like, I don't know what the hell I'm doing, like James Patterson said, or maybe you're kind of later in the journey and you're like, okay, I think I have some ideas now of what works, what doesn't work, or you're like even later finding your stride and just moving forward. It's all part of the journey and it's all beautiful and good, and I just want to encourage you to keep going, to keep writing, because your words do matter. I know that I say that every week to sign off, but it's true, because as we put down our words, it impacts us, it shapes us, it clarifies our thinking, it helps us get all the ideas onto paper, but it also impacts the people in our lives watching us write, watching us put a value on the stories, on the things that we're creating. I frequently think about my son watching me write and watching me honor creativity and honor creating things. And I know that that's impacting him, who I am as a creative. And then the larger, like your readers, the impact it can have there. So I hope that that encourages you. Let me know your thoughts, your questions. If you pulled out a different nugget from those excerpts, I'd love to hear it as well.